Namaste everyone, welcome to our weekly Interfaith dialogue. Today our guest speaker is Sri Lemuel Patole, known as Anand Patole. Over 50 years he is living in New York City. He's a musician, he's an artist. Moreover, he is a senior trustee of the World Yoga Community, currently serving as a Secretary General of the World Yoga Community in USA. Here is Anand Patole. I'll help him to set up his computer. 1 minute. Yeah, and by floor is for you.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Guruji, for a nice introduction. And I also thank you for this opportunity to share my life experience with friends this afternoon, morning. Om. 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 Om Brahmaya Namah, Jehovaya Namah, Allahaya Namah, Anantaya Namah. Sarva Sakshi, Sarva Vyapi, Parameshwaraya Namah, Nirgundirakar Devaya Namah. O Lord, thou art one, but thy names are many. We bow down before thee and worship thee. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. In his name, eternal peace, peace, peace. In the field of academic learning, they say there is no knowledge without the college. And in the field of spiritual learning, they say there is no knowledge without the Guru. My life runs in like 3 rivers. Art of my painting, the music, my tabla playing, and practice in religion. In all these 3 fields,
supposed to. Yeah, she left about 45 minutes ago, I think. Working, alla? Kalgade mugita? Kalgade.
my life runs as like 3 rivers. Rivers running, making their own path, meeting at one place, and merging into the ocean is their final destination. In my art of paint, in the world of academic learning, they say there is no knowledge without the Guru. In the field of academic education. There is no knowledge. There is only the knowledge from the college. And in the field of spiritual learning, there is no knowledge without the Guru. In all these three fields, my Guru Osho remained the source of inspiration for me all the way through. My talent, my art of painting and music and religion, I went to the end of it, to the ultimate of it, to find my own joy, my own bliss through these talents. In my art of painting, I began with a realistic style of painting, just like I saw with my physical eyes. I could draw and paint. Earlier than that, in high school years, I reached to a state where I could remember a person and outside somewhere, remember him later and draw pencil drawing exactly looking like him with likeness. That flattered my ego, and because no other artist couldn't do that, which I was doing. Then, after that, learning in Mumbai for 4 years in diploma in fine arts painting, plus 2 years of learning in New York School of Visual Arts, gave me enough to think material, to think and look and find out where was that ultimate joy hidden. I can go on painting in realistic style. I could make portrait painting and then in nature landscape painting using various techniques and mediums, and I went on and then created paintings which were sold in the galleries and all that. It gave me name, fame, money coming and all that. But I wasn't satisfied within myself because painting and doing painting all my life, what I was going to earn out of that or find out of that ultimately. The ultimate joy, the ultimate fulfillment. And I began to search. I decided to take the walk on the spiritual path as a spiritual seeker of truth. In order to walk on the path, I thought my body, mind, and intellect must be healthy and perfect to take that long walk until the last destiny. Yoga came handy to me. I found it through yoga. Yoga is not just an exercise, but through yoga, I can tune my body, mind, and intellect and prepare myself to walk on the way as a spiritual seeker. That followed meditation. Yoga and meditation goes hand in hand. Meditation is something where you empty your mind and concentrate on one point, like single pointed concentration, emptying your mind to let the wisdom flow within you. It's not coming from the bearded man in the sky somewhere, but it is your own inner revelation that reveals you the hidden truth. In my art of painting, realistic style, I was working in my painting studio, oil paints, putting on canvases, sacrificing realistic style. I reached to my inner vision that I saw my inner eyes, spiritual eyes. Those shapes, lines, colors, form, they were there trying to come out. And I was working and creating paintings on the lines, shapes, and colors and all that. And sold the paintings in New York galleries and all that. And that flattered my ego more than that. Yet I was thinking, is that all there is? Am I going to create that using living techniques, mediums? What's the ultimate in abstract impressionist paintings? How long I'm going to go on with that? There is something hidden in that, and that I must discover. And my search led me to experience something while I was working on mixing all those paints and putting it on canvas and all that with palette knife. I was trying to create one shade, desired shade, to put it on the canvas. And when I put the brush on the canvas, off-white color came. And I was stunned, shocked, looking at that. I didn't mean to get this off-white shade. I was trying to create some color, some shade to put it here. Then I looked at my palette, and there I saw mixture of all those colors had produced white tone. And that's where I realized what I heard years ago. Mixing up all those colors in proportion can produce half-white. Years ago I had heard, and that actually happened on my palette. And that's where I let the brush down, and looking at it, I experienced the ultimate in painting. The ultimate experience that what I was looking, that from color to color eternal. In Hindu Shastra, it is said, from Ranga to Ranga Brahma, from color to color eternal. And that I experienced, and that is the last experience, ultimate experience. Then there are many color lines, colors, form, shapes within me that are constantly going on. I could go on painting and painting, but that whole desire, the vasana, came to an end. And I what joy I got out of painting had transcended into bliss. And once that blissful state is achieved, that is the ultimate. You remain into that state forever. That is the ultimate in that. And that's where my painting, art of painting, stood still and happy and contented. I got transcended, transformed into that blissful state of mind. Then my mind was interested in finding it out, the similar in my talent of playing music, the double drums, tabla, the double drums. I said, my playing comes from a Delhi school that started hundreds of years ago. My style of playing is Delhi school, and that started years ago. From Delhi, there were 4 masters of tabla. They came from Delhi and settled in 4 corners of India, and all those 4 masters created their huge contribution in the field of tabla playing, music playing, their own creations of compositions and their own gharana, their own style of playing. And it's so deep and immense knowledge and compositions and all that you can take from each. But I was hungry and thirsty for the adopt and take that and play. My notebooks were filled with the compositions that I was playing and performing. And I asked to myself, there is no end to this. I can go on and on and on in music. But where is the ultimate joy from the music? There is, but I must discover that unless I sacrifice all that and go to the soul of music, I may not. If it's that all there is, then I must keep dancing. There is a song that says, if there's that all there is, then I must keep dancing. I was still looking for something ultimate joy in music. Then as I was playing one evening, I remember a small poem of sounds and syllables, just 2 lines. I started playing, which I learned years ago, and this popped up in my mind. And those 2 lines, you can create many, many variations and go on playing, on and on and on playing. And into that state of playing, mind doesn't like repetition. Mind always likes something new. And how many variations I could create into that little composition, which is called Rela, and it's like a thread that goes round and round on the spool. I was creating variations and going on, and I reached to the stage of repetition, and mind gets bored with the repetition. But into that, I created a sound vibration, a ring of sound vibration around me, and the sound vibration grew and grew and grew, bigger around, and I feel the state of levitation, sound lifting me up and helping me merge into the sound eternal, which is called Nada Brahma in Hindu religion. Then I was totally satisfied with that. No need of playing. The music was playing with me, in me, and I was into the blissful state of mind. I do not need to play now. I've experienced the ultimate, the joy of playing as it has transcended into the blissful state of mind. Then comes to practicing religion. Being born in a Christian family in India, predominantly Hindu India. My parents went to mission school in their teenage and became Christian. And I was born out of Christian parents, and parents' religion became my religion. I didn't have a chance to choose my religion, my own master, my own God. Parents' religion became my religion, and I thought I called that a religious accident. And in Hindu high school, I realized that all those masters, those holy people, sages, and divine people, they are talking about the same truth in a different vocabulary. It sounds different, but it's the same truth. And then I thought I need not think changing religion. What truth Christ is telling has been told by Krishna, Buddha, and Guru Nanak and all those great souls. The sum total of that, the ultimate experience of that is what is promised in the religion, the moksha, the salvation, nirvana, and all that. And I said, how am I going to get that in practicing religion, practicing 10 Commandments? I came to the point where I realized that I wasn't broken by the, I didn't break the 10 Commandments, but I was broken by the 10 Commandments. And that was such a frustrating experience. There is something that is beyond all this practicing thing. And what it is Dharma Brahma, Dharma eternal, that is moksha, salvation, right here in this body living on earth. Hinduism, I find the master key that gives me that freedom and salvation right here on the face of this earth, where I can say, Aham Brahmasmi. What I am seeking on the path of spiritual path is not somewhere else up in the sky or heaven or anything. It is right here within me. And it is through my devotion, I can please the deity, my Jesus, my Brahma, my Krishna, Buddha, or whoever it is. And thus, I, with my devotion, merge into the divinity, and the divinity is pleased with my devotion, and with his pleasantness, the divinity merges into me. So here, I am not one and he is another. We are one. That experience is the ultimate experience in religion that I discovered. When I say I have that I experience, do not believe in me. Because it is not, when I say that, then it belongs to my intellectual plane. But when it's experience, that is from within. And from within, we do not need words. Verbal expression is used just to indicate that. But you go beyond verbal expression and reach into that non-verbal bliss, religion eternal. And with that, I can, with all my confidence and my faith, I can say, Aham Brahmasmi. I am the one that I was looking for as a spiritual seeker. We are one. And that master key I find only in Hinduism, in Hindu religion. And Hindu religion basically is not a religion. We have many, many divine souls contributing to the path. If the path is laid in Hinduism, for Hindu religion, for anyone to follow and reach his destination, regardless of joining the religion or taking any course or becoming a reverend or ordination or anything, diksha or anything. Anyone can take that path and reach to his ultimate destination. And that key, master key, I found only in the Hindu religion. Using that key, as a Marathi Christian, I can very conveniently, very pleasantly use yoga, meditation, these other techniques, and reach to the depth of it, to the ultimate of it, where me and divine become one. And that's the blissful state of mind I'll be living with. That can be identified only between the silence between two words. It cannot be verbalized. Truth cannot be verbalized. Jesus says, I am the truth, the way, and salvation. Jesus says, I am the way, the truth, and salvation. The way he shows what salvation is mentioned about that also, giving stories and parables. But what the truth is, the Roman king asked him, what is the truth? Tell me what is the truth. And Jesus maintained silence. Truth cannot be told in words. Truth only needs to be experienced. And in order to experience it, your body, mind, and intellect must be in tune, must be on that length of wavelength to absorb the divine message, the divine current, and the ultimate. And fortunately, I have gone through these 3 feet and discovered the ultimate in these 3 feet. Now, what I have said here, I shared my experience. Naturally, it would create questions in the minds of listeners. And those questions must be answered. I cannot leave you hanging in between. As far as possible, I can verbalize and explain. I can tell you that because it is like my abstract paintings with line, blobs, colors, and everything. When I invite my friends to see my art show, then my friend's wife, she asked me, are we supposed to see in painting like this? And the husband is also question. But their 4 5-year-old child says, Mommy, I see a man here, bearded man, kneeling with his hand. And Mommy, that is, she cannot find it. Child is so innocent, beautiful to bring those shapes into the cloud and find a bearded man or an elephant and shows it to mother. Mother says, where it is, where? But she is looking, and by the time she finds it, the cloud formations are changing. Those paintings, abstract paintings, and forms like that need the purity of heart that I had with me when I was born with it. I brought it with me from my mother's womb. There is no other way around. I brought those gems from my mother's womb, being born in my parents' world outside. So much I have to learn. I was so hungry and thirsty for that. Everything, learning, and ocean of knowledge I learned, and my gems and pearls went deep down into the bottom of the ocean of my memory. Now I must have enough breath to hold and go deep down to reach the bottom and get whatever I get in my hand and come to the surface. I tried, but the water could drown me because my body was short of breath. Finally, I managed to go deep down and grabbed everything that I could and came on the shore, and I looked at it. Oh, these are the gems. These are my gems I knew right in my mother's womb. What happened to that? They are all gone deep down under. Now, with that, those are the gems. That is the wisdom that will help me to connect with the divine. And such things happen. Coming to the Western world and bringing Eastern wisdom, I found the biggest obstacle in the Western world is your understanding of what the mind is and your understanding of why what the mind is and what the center of, in the Western world, it is an obstacle with them is what the mind is and what the center of emotion is. Ask a white man what your mind is and he will point out to his skull, meaning brain. Absurd, ridiculous. Then I asked the man, what is the center of emotion you think? My heart. Heart cannot be center of emotion. Heart is the task of for purifying the blood and supplying it to the body, is doing from the first inhaling, and it will continue doing that till the last exhaling. Then what is where I am? Brain cannot be mind. Mind is an invisible screen across the chest of yours, in your lungs, across the chest, upon which 5 senses project their image, filtered and stored into the brain. Brain is only the storage, a storehouse, a bank. You can take and deposit and withdraw and all that. Brain is not mind. Brain cannot be mind. And this mind is the screen or the lungs is empowered by your breath. It is 2 things are the biggest obstacle in the Western world for us to bring Eastern wisdom and for Western mind to understand Eastern spiritual knowledge. That is because of obstacle of mind and brain, center of emotion. If these were threatened, then I concluded with saying Eastern wisdom filtered through the Western mind comes out with a funny flavor. Take for instance the word karma. Karma is a household word in England, like tandoori chicken. If anything goes right, oh, that must be your karma of the fast. Anything goes wrong, that must be your karma. Karma is a concept reduced into the theory, and theory keeps you tied up within theory. You cannot free your mind and go beyond. Karma is not a theory, but Western mind, being scientific mind, must have something to point out, something to show. Without that, science wouldn't believe. Science wouldn't believe unless there is brain and heart to point out. Screen on invisible screen on across your chest, upon which 5 senses project this image. It cannot be understood. They cannot conceive that. And the most shocking thing is, they believe in soul. Westerners believe in soul. How can you believe in soul? When you do not believe in mind, you cannot believe in soul. Soul is not an organ in the body. Soul resides into spiritual body. Mind resides into physical body. When a physical body dies, mind remains with its memory. When spiritual body is left, soul is left with that. Mind is left with the physical body. No one has gone into heaven with physical body. The physical body must merge into 5 principles of the earth where it was taken from. The spiritual body has limitless possibilities. It goes and merges into eternity. These understandings in the Western world, for me, and all those masters came here to this country to preach what truth is, find that obstacle. Millionaires pour their millions of dollars at the feet of the master, but remain empty in the end. Very interesting stories told about Lord Buddha and his cousin. So Buddha's cousin had demanded that his cousin, and he won't be like disciple. He will live and eat and sleep with him. And in the end, he didn't get a chance to drink from the fountain, the wisdom. And when the conference of awakened masters were called, Ananda's name was not there because he wasn't awakened like full moon, no changing stages. And he began to cry and then came to realization. So this is my experience, friends, of art, music, religion, and my life as such, going through that. And I really thank you for letting me share it with you.
Thank you, dear Anand. It was a wonderful presentation. We are going to open up the floor for question and answers. Those who want to ask questions, you can ask, and he can answer to those questions. End of the meeting, we may have some prayer from different people, because today is I think what is the date for Military People's Day, right?
Veterans Day.
It's also Veterans Day.
So who is going first?
I'll ask a question over here. Sir, I'm really enjoyed your lecture. And in Guru Nanak's philosophy, or in Sikh philosophy, we call it Jivan Mukt concept. That you achieve, not wait for the salvation to come about after dying, but while you're still within this body. And then Guru Nanak also passed his message on the basis of the ragas. You know, that's how Sikh scripture is in 31 ragas. Those shabdas are sung to connect with one's inner self and with the Creator. Then he had a conversation, which you may have heard, with the Siddhas in the mountains, which is called Siddhgosht, the dialogue with the Siddhas, in which he says that, you know, the most emphasis seems to be given on the individual growth only. But once the knowledge is obtained, it must be shared with the public at large so that they can also benefit from it. Because otherwise, the person who achieves this knowledge should also be able to earn their own living and share fruits of their earnings with other people. They should not be dependent on the society as such. So the whole idea of the knowledge is to obtain a connection with our Creator while also work toward the common good of the society. If we stay isolated from that approach, then we are not really actually loving God, because after all, the God is in the creation. And if we're not helping to improve the human condition, then our knowledge just dies with us. I wonder what's your view about it?
Oh, thank you for your hasty conclusion on my talk. And I'm not trying to mention that this is the only path. No. The knowledge transformed into spiritual wisdom. Knowledge is only at the intellectual plane brain. And when I mention that, I mean, this is the path. Being born as a Christian in India, I found for me convenient. Through that I could reach. That doesn't mean everyone must follow that. No, not at all. You can, with your own knowledge and wisdom, you can take the journey yourself and achieve that. So
No. So my point is, that is, I agree with you what you said. My point is, but this knowledge which we attain at our individual level and with a lot of effort, this need to be shared with the public at large and work toward the common good of the humanity. If it only confines to one person or few people, then I think we are not working towards the common good of the society. And when we say Jo Brahmande Soi Pinde Jo Khoja So Pave, you know, that God is also within his creation. And to serve God, we need to use our knowledge and all other means at our support to help improve the community life. That's my point. And I wonder what
well,
your opinion is.
well, there are preachers and teachers and highly enlightened souls contributing to that. I'm not trying to use, and I'm not stuck with the knowledge either, unless it's transformed into wisdom. And that wisdom is a spiritual light, is a fragrance that regardless of giving or not giving, it will reach to others. It's not a school or an academy to bring people together and offer the degree. No, it is for your own search, and I do not confine that to my experience only. You have that. Everybody has his own freedom, and what I experience cannot be your experience at all, because the experiencer is different. Although the experience is the same, experiencer is different. So it's all open. And giving to people, we've been giving it all our life. But people, are you ready to take that path? Bring yourself to that understanding. Each one is trying by himself. All these masters are being born again and again and bringing the truth and teaching them. Thank you.
Thank you. My point is that we have so much poverty around us. We have so much inequality around us. We have so much hatred among people because of the low caste, upper caste, this thing, that thing, different religions and all that. And hopefully a spiritually enlightened individual will work towards to bring about a change in the society for the better. That's the point I was trying to make.
Well, Singh Saab, you are entering into social and political world, which is related to it, not directly, but indirectly. Poverty was there when Jesus was living, and Mary Magdalene used the most costliest perfume to wash feet of Jesus, and disciples said, oh, this is it would have got thousands of dollars, and she's using it on. The poor are with you for always. Jesus is not with you for always. The wisdom needs to be obtained. Poor people, helping them. It's a social media. An awakened person, his presence itself is a help. He can do many things. His followers can do many things. But that is not the ultimate here we are talking. Until the individual experiences the divine. That's the point.
All right, thank you.
Who's next?
I'll go next. I really enjoyed your talk, and I wrote down a couple of the things that you said. A question I had was, I was intrigued with your analogies of experiencing the pinnacle of artistic pursuits, and then same way with musical. And I know you've come back and continued your artistic pursuits. It sounded like once you had that feeling musically that you just stopped playing music. Is that, did I hear that correctly? Like you got there and you had it within you and there was no need to play the physical instruments anymore.
Well, reaching to that stage is going beyond music. Music lifts you up and helps you merge into music eternal. Only the sages meditating into the caves of Himalaya heard the rotation sound of the earth, the humming sound of the rotation of earth. Then that sage must empty his mind completely in order to hear that. And once he heard, that was the unheard sound that Rushimani heard. And it's followed on to the disciple who are ready to accept. I do not mean that saying, but music is within me, playing continues. I don't need tabla to create that. I don't need my flute or saxophone or piano to create that. The inner music leaves me with such a satisfaction, transcending my joy into the blissful state of mind that is ultimate.
Thank you.
Imam, you can go for. Imam Arif.
Mute. I think you're muted.
Unmute yourself. Yeah. Good.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Good afternoon to every one of you. It is a pleasure to be here in this dialogue lesson made by Sri Lemuel Patole Ananda. I thank you, sir, for sharing your wisdom with us and your knowledge, and also arts and musical experiences. I am heavily involved in interfaith community about my whole life. And I always suggest all others to involve themselves to hear from other faiths and spiritual perspectives of what they believe and how they're expressing whether their beliefs or spiritual experiences or philosophical experiences. I appreciate your life, your studies, that you've been studying how you did and you expressed the way you did. And there is, I certainly have no questions at this moment, but I'll suggest if you have a time sometimes to work with Guruji, Dr. Dileepkumar, to include you in interfaith conferences when we have it. He have it very often, so you can hear perspectives from other religious and spiritual leaders. How did they express their view of their religions and beliefs, how they share it, whether they learn it from their personal community or religious leader, or they learn from various faiths leaders. Myself being in study comparative religions, thank God that makes me to improve even myself in my own religion. Actually, that's not my own religion, that is Islam. I'm a Muslim, follower of Islam. That's not my own religion, but in beliefs that I practice in since my childhood. And we in religious have many similarities in beliefs, in praying, and we mostly have one God that we submit to, regardless how we call them, whether Allah, God, or any other names. That is, as we understood, that is only one creator of all creatures in the world. So interfaith gatherings improve our life, bringing love among ourselves through entire humanity, regardless of our beliefs and any other orientations, that making also peace, that we work for each other's justice. If one person is not in peace, not enjoying his freedom, we all should not that free because someone is under oppression. We all need to be for one and one for all in speaking, regardless religiously, spiritually, or however. There is a misunderstanding, a miscommunication involved around about religious views, spiritual views, and lives in those segments. And that's why we have many oppressed people in the world because of misunderstanding, praising themselves as the highest or supremest above the other. God's prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, taught us that there is no supremacy one above the other, regardless of our schemes and beliefs. We are all human beings created under one God. So that understanding will bring us in mutual love and understanding that we can work on the path towards equal justice for all, peace and unity. I thank you, and I thank my brother, Dr. Guruji, Dr. Dileepkumar, for inviting me to this forum. And thank you, Doctor, for having me to say a few words.
Rajbhai.
Namaste, Anand Bhai, and all the participants.
Yes.
Namaste, Sasrikal. Assalamu alaikum.
Namaste.
All kinds of greetings. My question to you, you mentioned about the physical body and spiritual body. If you can simplify the concept of soul, how we evolved and what our purpose as a soul in this human life and where our journey will end. So just focusing on what is soul, what's the spiritual body you're referring to, how you made the connection from your physical body to the mental body to the spiritual body. Thank you, Anand Bhai.
It is the physical body that makes you aware of spiritual body. Those sages of Vedanta period left home everything they were driven by a force within themselves to discover something deeper than daily life. Living into the caves, emptying their minds totally, concentrating on one thing, they discovered they had their own inner revelations. Through that, they discovered many spiritual things that a common man cannot even conceive of or understand. And that's where what body is and what mind is and what soul is, and all these things came into light, and we became as a guiding light for us to understand. And just because Vedanta, that doesn't mean I will accept that, but I experience that using that as a material. I experienced that, and there I could see physical body with mind and spiritual body with the soul. The difference, distinction clearly I could experience within, not in terms of verbal expression, but inner awareness of that. And that's where, yeah, go ahead.
No, thank you. That explains detail. I just want to offer. You mentioned about the prayers that I hope we can all pray to bring this back, bring us all back to unify as one United Nations. That's really the focus. If country is deeply divided, 70 million in favor of Biden, another 70 million in favor of Trump. I hope as interfaith community, it's our job to share that love, that olive branch, so that we are made whole, so nobody feels left out. And I offer prayer to that one God, worship.
Today's Veterans Day too.
Sorry?
Today's Veterans Day too.
Yeah, Veterans Day, all the people who sacrifice their life to give freedom to United States. So I just want all of us to reflect on it. On that thought, I will close. Om Shanti. May peace be upon each and every individual everywhere. And just remember that we are one. God bless you.
Politics is not my cup of tea. I would rather let Guruji comment on that. Thank you.
Gabriel.
Namaste. Namaste, Ambai.
Namaste, Gabriel. Namaste.
It's good to, wow. It's been a blessing all these years. And Lord knows for how much longer. Ambai, it's a blessing to know you and to learn from you and to absorb. I don't want to tell you that you should be doing this, that you should be reaching out, that you should be putting yourself out there more or less or this or that. It's a blessing to get to know you and to connect with you and absorb and see what you have to give and what you have to say, rather than to say that you should or imply that you should or you can do more. I believe that you have that awareness and that you live within your truth to the extent where whatever you have to learn and whatever you have to grow from is alive for you in the moment, wherever you are. And I don't even know. I'm learning. So anyways, Ambai, it's a blessing.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Gabriel.
Thank you.
So whoever like to do a prayer, just do a prayer. Any religious or spiritual, you're welcome. Everybody get 2 minutes, okay?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
There is one chapter of Quran that applies to our segments of life in speaking the truth for all times, and also before that, and also will apply to veterans to thank them for their time. And I personally, from my heart, thank veterans for making freedom of the United States so we can enjoy our lives today with our families, and may God bless their families and souls of their loved ones. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In the name of God, most gracious, most merciful. This chapter is called The Time Through the Age. Only 3 verses. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful, by the promise of time infinite, surely man is in loss, except such as those who have faith and do righteous deeds and join together in the mutual teaching of truth and of patience and perseverance. This is only 3 verses of this prayer, and I thank you for the opportunity to read them to you from the Holy Book of Quran. Thank you.
Dr. Kavali, unmute yourself.
Thank you for asking me to pray. Dear God, Vaheguru, Allah, Brahm, whatever name people may call you, we know you're one and only one. And you are maker of all of us and all the creation in which you reside. We celebrate your omnipresent, omnipotence, and omniscience in us and among us. And we especially ask blessings for the veterans who have served to protect the freedom for all our citizens of our country and their families. Please give us, soften our minds so that we can work together for the common good of our society, so that each and every citizen, every person, and every part of the creation may prosper according to your divine will. Thank you.
Peter Regina.
I'd like to offer a thanks to not only our veterans, but to our teachers and to our gurus. I think Anand very rightly brought our focus to the fact that it's through the gurus and through the things that we learn that we are able to achieve a more spiritual being of ourselves. And that ourselves is much greater than just ourselves. So thank you, and thank you to the one God for allowing us to continue to have this session where we continue to propagate these messages and these teachings. Amen.
Any other questions or comments?
Yes. I would like to pray that I finish school very soon so that I can continue tabla lessons with Ambay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, you'll have tabla very soon. Rajbhai, any other comments?
Thanks again. I think every day is a blessed day. We have to be careful. Coronavirus is increasing exponentially. More than 100,000 people are diagnosed each day. 240,000 people have passed on. So we do our part, wear our mask, and maintain social distance, washing our hands, and pray to, most importantly, pray to one and all to improve our immune system and fight this crisis. And may peace prevail on earth. Again, political crisis in the United States should end soon. God bless everyone, everywhere.
Final word from Anand boy.
Yeah. What?
Final word. Conclusion.
Well, it was nice to share my experience with you friends. And I'm glad some of my friends were also listening and asked me some interesting questions. I cannot add any more, but what I share is my own experience in life. And if it is useful for you in some way, then it is the greatness of your heart, not me, not what I said. Thank you.
Thank you, Anand boy. It was wonderful to hear your personal experience and wisdom and your opinions and answers. And thank you, everyone, be part of today's Interfaith dialogue. When we ask more questions in different angle, he may give more explanation. That's the thing I understood about him. Most of the speakers are like this. They present a little bit, then we have to ask questions from different dimensions.
If we have,
he want to say something. 1 minute.
if we have time and they have question, I'm here.
So we will continue another time for him. So that way we'll make different subject.
Okay.
So that way, because we have limited time. So anyway, today is one of the holiday in America. That's Veterans Day. I don't know that much story about veterans, but I know they are the people sacrificed for this country. I admire their life. Some are willfully admit their life to the military, or some people unknowingly passed away. Because of the leadership problems, this can happen. And in 21st century, we're supposed to avoid unnecessary war or all the conflict. That's why UN stands for it. Somehow, politics getting worse and worse. We are losing the dignity of human life and the value of the families and moralities and ethics. So I hope coming years people will realize what are the problems in the world. Otherwise, we may not sustain on this earth. Even we don't know earth can sustain either. So as a spiritualist, we have certain duties. We will practice our own sadhanas. Same time, we have to take care of our community and family. So see whatever we can do, we'll do. Continue our work. So I'll end up with a prayer. Oh, 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 yoga samasta sugino bhavantu yoga samasta sugino bhavantu yoga samasta sugino bhavantu om shanti 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 om peace peace. Thank you everyone. See you next Wednesday.